Huh. Okay. Hello, can anybody hear me? I'm gonna go double check to see if my live stream is working. Yep, it's working. I think. All right. All right. Yeah, my audio's kind of bad, but what can I do? Anyways, welcome to my first ever live stream. Yeah. Huh. All right. Alrighty. I should hop into the game, play a bit of Dandy's World before the update drops, and then have fun with it. Soon enough, we will be able to play Swimmy Barnaby. Maybe more arcade games in the future will be added to this room. Just gonna double check. Your wait, it's that was my fault on this part. Right. Now we have 8 minutes. I think we can get a run in. But what did you guys think of the devlog Quell sent out? Alright. Coincidentally, we have Finn's floor, or the aquarium floor. Um, yes, take the golden brick. All right. What else besides the stuff that was shown do you guys think is? What else do you guys think is gonna be added besides the stuff that's already shown? Because I honestly kind of think that Finn might get a buff slash rework. Not Twisted Finn. He was already confirmed to have a rework. But the Toon himself. That honestly could genuinely be fun. Do 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 do. Alright. Okay, okay. And someone already died on floor 2. Isn't that just fun? No. Girl. Sure, V, you can do it. You can do it if you want. You can do it, V. Oh, thank you to you, Sprout. I think Sprout was the one that healed me. I'm sorry. All right. Okay. Now, she explains at the end of this video that animal control said to her that sometimes people will dig up people's dogs to get their collars and do some kind of like data thing, but I don't really know if that's a thing. I don't know what this was. The poster says that it happened like 15 years ago. All right. And I still am just like, was it paranormal? Like, oh, it makes my heart race. Like, was it these people trying to pull something over on her, like to get money from her somehow? Like, was it a scam? What happened here? Was that my dog at the animal shelter, and I just walked away from him after he found me again? He did bury my dog. Where did the collar come from? How did it end up on this dog? No way that's a thing. All I know is that I hope her dog. All right. Oh. Hello. I see you've been around here for some time. Can I ask you to do me a little favor? New buds are joining Garden View every day, and they may need some help. Remember, we all have to start somewhere, and there are titles to be earned for helping. All right. This skin is magnificent. It's kind of hard to control. I'm not good at this, guys.
Literally no idea at all what that thing was saying, but it looked like a plastic human. Like it looked like a human, but with like plastic over its entire being, and like it was wearing a mask. This was probably some sort of hoax or internet horror story, or I really don't know, and I don't know what this person is saying in this video, but I thought it was interesting to include nonetheless. Are you familiar with gyms? Do you know anything about them? Have you ever seen one? I feel like no, because supposedly they're invisible. But now I'm really curious. I keep talking to you about this CERN comment, right? And it comes from the following video from Tom Kendall 859. Now listen, this gave me goosebumps the first time I listened to it. This man seems so freaked out by what he saw. And what he saw sounds alarmingly like a grown-up version of black-eyed children. I walked down the street, walking back to the store. There's this guy going up 15 feet behind me. You have to tell someone's walking behind you. Man, he's looking at me. He stopped me when I stopped. So I walked forward a little bit, and I keep walking like that. I said, "Hey, guy, you're not what? What's the problem?" I swear to God, my mother's raised, guys. I was jet black. Jet black. Seriously. Smile like that, man. Turn around. Yeah, great. I come home. I'm sitting out there where my street is. That corner right there, that stop sign, that one. We're staying right there.
I'm actually getting decently high.
He seems really shaken up in this video. I completely believe that he saw whatever it is that he says he saw, but this was the video where somebody commented about those CERN experiments and how apparently now we can see things we couldn't see before.
No.
Every encounter
Dang it.
you've had has been with who you think it is. This next one comes from Rome the Daddy, and is captioned, "If my daughter is asleep in bed, who is this?" And you see that his daughter is asleep in her bed on the baby monitor, and yet she's right in front of him, like watching TV. This is probably some kind of glitch with the nanny cam or whatever, but I cannot even imagine sitting with my child just watching TV, hanging out, getting a notification from the baby monitor, looking down and seeing that they just woke up from a nap. Oh, that's so creepy. The next video is from Visit Manic, and they have one of the weirdest glitches I've ever heard of that all surrounds an Eggo waffle.
So the weirdest thing just happened. I was making breakfast for my son. I put a waffle in the toaster, and my wife watched me take the waffle out of the bag, put it in the toaster, push the thing down. I go upstairs to go to the bathroom, and I get a text from her a couple minutes later saying, "Where's the waffle?" It's not there. I come back downstairs. Nothing's in the toaster. No one took the waffle. They didn't move at all from their seat where they were sitting. And I've been looking
This
around
fin
the house.
skin is so cool. I honestly love it.
All over the house. And I cannot find the singular one. Is this just a glitch in the Matrix? Am I having more ghost stuff happen in the house?
Let me see. Did Finn actually get a rework or buff? This Toon gains a 35 movement and speed boost when any machine is completed for 10 seconds.
You guys might already know this, but over the summer I had kind of a similar glitch in the Matrix, except it was a chicken burger that I got from Costco that mysteriously had like multiplied. Like I went back into the box.
I mean, it's a buff.
After I had made one,
A very cool buff, but a buff nonetheless. I want the Swimmy Barnaby skin.
I know what it's like to know that you made something, to know you did something, to know you put the Eggo waffle in the toaster, you started making it. Just as fierce. Finally, I have a really fascinating video for you from a creator that I'm new to named
Brother.
I think that he really explains things so well. I'm like gonna binge his account after I film this because he has some really, really interesting
Hmm.
Stick with me through the whole video because it's weird. And it's called the Prison Planet Theory.
I want to see what scores my friends got so far. 4, 4, 11, 88.
I fell asleep last night, and if you keep watching this, you're probably not going to sleep either. So here I am, minding my own business on Reddit, when I found a sleeping prison planet. And for the next 3 hours, I dove too deep. Here's the gist of it. Essentially, we're all trapped here on Earth. We're all trapped here, and everything we know about, like all the religions, the belief in reincarnation, all these different things, yeah, we keep coming back to this Earth because there are actual beings that are harvesting our energy.
I'll try you again later. Alright, let's... see.
Our experience, if you work the land, you gotta be a jack of all trades. You gotta have a little bit of idea and a whole lot of get do. Which, if you don't know about
Holy fins.
just means knowledge. And basically, what the Gnostics believed was after Christ died, you have to have particular knowledge that would save you. Well, the Gnostics, yeah, they believed in archons, which are parasitic entities that feed off of us.
I need it. That skin is so peak.
So every major form of religion talks about how we have a soul. Well, we are a soul. We have a body, right? This body is essentially a rental car. And these beings, what they feed off of, the energy they feed off of is this low vibrational energy. So whether it's stress, whether it's fear, whether it's contention, hate, greed, jealousy, rage, all of it, anxiety, that's what they feed off of. And so they manipulate and they toy with us. They do all of these things to create this energy. We're just all here. Life is engineered to create this low vibrational energy. And what happens is when we die, when we go to that light,
I got the skin.
you need to go back to Earth. There's more you need to learn, or there's karma you need to resolve.
This skin looks fun.
There's a higher purpose that you need to do. And we come back, and it's the same thing.
I'm a pretty spiritual gal myself. I definitely don't think that's all there is to the afterlife. I don't think I would have had half the paranormal experiences I've had if that's really all there was. Because in that case, like, our energies wouldn't linger. We would just constantly be reincarnating and like coming back to do more things and have more energy for these great almighty beings feast on or whatever. That sounds so crazy. But I still think it's an interesting theory. And honestly, this creator kind of sold me on it for a second, so I thought I would include it for all of you too. Do you think there's anything to the prison planet theory? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. A special thank you to my subscribers who are members of the channel. If you want to join the channel memberships and get extra members exclusive content, like members only
Everybody, somebody laughed.
video topics, my love button tier, it's a weekly podcast, and so much more. You can click that little join button somewhere around the screen. We would love to have you. An extra special thank you to my VIP labs for their continued and generous support of the channel. I love and appreciate you all very, very much. I love you all very much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
Business moves fast. Orders
Deadlines closing. You ship with USPS Ground Advantage. You can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
All right.
Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Hi, hello-y. My name is Chloe, and it is officially
What?
most wonderful time of the year. The holiday season, sure, yes, but mostly that time of year where I take a look back at all of the content that I created with you and for you. And I say with you because these scary side of TikTok videos would never be possible without all of you. And with the future of
Yeah,
TikTok
Roblox
being
is
pretty
kind
uncertain
of
in
bad
2025, I just want to
chat
say a big
filter
thank you for all of
exists.
the love and support that you've shown me on these videos, on my channel as a whole, whether you've been here for 1 day or 10 years. I don't anticipate these videos going away. If TikTok goes, then this content will be posted elsewhere, so it might just be scary side of YouTube Shorts or something. But with TikTok, it's been so interactive between us, where it's like I'll go through my mentions and I'll just see you guys talking to me like we're friends, having me in your favorite scary video, being like, girl, this kept me up tonight. I love responding to you guys. I love talking to you. That's why I love filming scary side of TikTok videos, because it truly feels like such an interactive experience between me and you. If you've ever sent me a TikTok or even just watched these videos, thank you so much. So today, I thought we'd take a look at all 35 scary TikTok stories that I shared with you this year. That's crazy to me, especially because this is a totally new section of the scary side of TikTok. It mostly came about because there have been so many trends where people have been telling scary stories on TikTok. These like 6 to 9 minute videos that just normally would never fit into a normal scary side of TikTok video. And you guys have had such an incredible response to them. They are actually my very favorite videos to film. So when I thought about the first compilation I wanted to put out this year, this is where I wanted to start. We'll have everything here today, from paranormal stories to mimic stories to just people's absolute horror experiences that they've been sharing on TikTok here. So get yourself a drink and a snack, or maybe like a 5-course meal, and sit down. I know you've seen the length of this video, but I really hope you enjoy these scary TikTok stories from this year. And recently, there has been a trend going around TikTok that you guys have been tagging me in, unlike anything I've ever seen before. I feel like I've said that in other videos, but I'm serious. This time, this is a trend literally made just for me. Because recently, in response to a video that has gone viral from TikTok user Audacity, people all around the world are sharing their scariest ghost stories that sound unbelievable but are totally true. A ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable, but it's entirely true. I'll go first. Today we're going to be taking a look at 5 true ghost stories that I found from this trend. It literally scared me into sleeping with the lights on. I'm telling you, this trend is It's terrifying, and I love it. I feel like we can't talk about this trend without first talking about the story that came from the creator of it, Audacity, who starts off this video by saying, "Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true." I'll go first. Going on to set up their story, they and their family, when they were around 8 years old, moved to a very small town in the Midwest. She says it was a very old home. In fact, something she thought was built as part of the Homestead Act back in the 1800s or so. Tons of
All right.
barns that she knew had once been inhabited by tons of animals, but had since been burned down. Just a lot of history. And Audacity said that she knew, even as a child, that she just was kind of an intuitive child. She didn't really know necessarily what to do with that intuition, but she knew that she could sense things around her. It was this intuition, this sort of curiosity about spirituality and ghosts and whatever was around her at that time that led her to trying out a Ouija board in this incredibly old house with a ton of history. Now, what happens from here is so terrifying, and as Audacity says in the beginning of this video, sounds completely unbelievable, but according to this poster, is entirely true. And of course, I dragged along my best friend and my sister and a couple other friends on this Ouija board journey, where we would go and sit at the top of the stairs in the basement, and we would turn all the lights off, turn candles on, and then ask this thing questions, and it responded. And I don't know if people agree. It sounds psycho. The fact that other people are there to verify all of these things and validate gives me inner peace, but I don't tell people. But it worked. And unlike what I thought would happen when I moved, even when I lived all of our hands off of it, it's still moving. Is how aggressively it moved. It wasn't gentle. It was like very sharp. And so much time would pass when we were in there talking to this entity as well. Like, we would think 10 minutes went by and it would be 2 hours. Like, insane. Being little kids, we wanted to know questions and answers like, who are we going to marry when we grow up? Or how many kids are we going to have? Or just questions like that. And every single time we started, it would give us answers at first. Like, it would tell us about itself. We would say, like, what's your name? And it would just say Demon. D-E-M-O-N, like, over and over again. When we would ask questions about me, at first it would like give us answers, and then it would just spell repeatedly B-I-T-C-H, B-I-T-C-H, B-I-T-C-H. Horrifying. Like, any question about me. Also having, like, visuals of, like, hands reaching towards the planchette, like, in the candlelight flicker. This entity gave us details saying that it was, like, buried in a cemetery that was, like, local, like, the name was legit. It gave us, like, I think either it was a plot number or it was just, like, the last name. And we did go there, and what we found was crazy. While I'm unsure of what exactly it was that the poster found in the cemetery, she did post a couple of follow-ups to this original story time, which I super appreciate, because she was sort of like the ring bearer of it all. Is that the right word here? The brave leader, trudging us all into paranormal, spooky story darkness all over our For You pages. So in a follow-up video that went up, I think like a day or two after that original post, she shows a couple of Facebook posts dating back to 2009 talking about the Ouija board experiences. So basically it says that the person we were talking to on the Ouija board claimed to be an 86-year-old woman. And we asked if I was going to have a child, or if I was going to get married, like the MASH questions. And then we asked if there was, I think this is this one. We asked where she was, and she said in between life and death. And then we called me a B-I-T-C-H. And then we had this other one where we asked, is there anyone else who would like to speak to us? And it says yes. And then we say who? And it says demon. And then we said why? And it spelled out he knows God. I know you all really do your hands up, like watching it, and I completely forgot about this till I read it. And then we kept trying to ask him the same questions. What am I going to college for B-I-T-C-H? And I can you stay awake. I'm never going to sleep again. Whatever this is, repeatedly calling her that word, like repeatedly referring to her as that, and calling itself demon over and over, as well as the he knows God tidbit, absolutely terrifying. As somebody who also grew up in a haunted farmhouse, and that is going to be the story that I share for my stitch to Audacity's video, there are some dark energies in those kinds of places for one reason or another. So following up to this, as kind of like a part 3, Audacity Ouija board was Houston. I don't know. They're all want to go down here, but I want to show you. Oh God. Oh, bugs. There's like this wall in there, and then there's a door that goes outside to the cellar. But you can see, I mean, this place is creepy as. I go back up the stairs. You guys did the Ouija board. Oh, there's Winnie. You guys did the Ouija board right outside of this door. And I think I'm covered in webs right now. I mean, it looks like nightmare fuel to me, man. Like, that looks like the kind of place for you to have a demonic Ouija board experience. I definitely understand why this was the story that kind of kicked all of these off. Because it's terrifying from the very first video. Every single detail to it just makes it all the creepier. Thank you so much, Audacity, for starting this trend with your story. It scared me into not wanting to sleep tonight, but I'm really grateful for all of these amazing stories that you inspire people to tell because, oh my God, are they creepy. The next story comes from TikToker Tegan Early. Now, one of you tagged me in this TikToker's post, and she responded saying that she loved me, and I love her too. So we're going to talk about her story. Tegan is a storyteller, producer, singer, actor who begins her video by saying that yes, Midwestern ghosts are simply built a bit different. Tegan was on her way to a rehearsal in Chicago one day. Now at this time she was living outside of the city, but she was driving in for this rehearsal when she saw a little white dog run across the road. This freaked her out to the point where she decided to pull over and see if she could catch this dog. So she leaves her car parked in like a street parking spot and chases after this dog. She's going street after street, corner to corner, like calling after it, trying to catch up with it. The dog is just speed racer, bolting down the street. She loses sight of it after one corner, but continues walking until she sees these huge cemetery gates. And along with the cemetery came a man that we will get to know over the course of this story. I eventually come across the front gates of the oldest and biggest cemetery in the city of Chicago, Rose Hill Cemetery. And for those of you who are not from Chicago, there's a lot of overhead trains. They're awesome. I love them. There's like an overhead train that creates like an underpass. Then you go through that underpass, and then there's these giant, gothic, gorgeous front gates to the cemetery. And under the underpass, so not like in front of the gates of the cemetery, but the underpass right in front of the cemetery, there's this cop, and like parked cop car, and then cop was taking a smoke break. And already, like, some stuff felt weird about this guy. He had like a big 80s handlebar mustache. I mean, I guess those could be coming back in, like, and then like both his uniform and the squad car did not.
You can try it if you want.
That I see driving around Chicago all the time. But like nothing.
How's the machine work?
About this guy, so I thought, maybe the precinct is just like water or something.
Like the arcade. Like the arcade.
And I say, hey, trying to ask him about the dog. And before I can even get my question out, he says, are you looking for that little white dog? And I'm like, yes. Do you know where it went? And before he answers, we have a full conversation.
Okay,
like,
I'm gonna rejoin.
No, but I don't know whose dog it is. I just figured it would help because I have some free time. He's like, okay. Well, the dog just ran through the front gates of the cemetery. And y'all, the cemetery is massive. So I was kind of like, okay, at least it's in a gated area where it can't really run anywhere else. Like, it's gonna be in there somewhere, but it's gonna take me forever to find this dog, especially if I'm the only one looking for it somehow. So at this point, I thank the officer. I start walking towards the
Alright, let's see. First quest done.
The officer stops me in my tracks and says, wait, before you go in there, just so you know, those front gates close at 5 on the dot. And afterwards, nothing gets out. Because I thought he was kidding, but I still remember how my skin crawled when he said this to me. But he looks me dead in the eyes and he goes, no, seriously, you're going to want to be out of there by 5. Now, our poster sets off to go and find the dog in the cemetery. It's not super far from where this policeman's squad car is to, like, where she's walking. She's only been walking for around 5 seconds
Alright, let me try this again.
which direction the dog ran in. When she turns around, both the police officer and the squad car are gone.
So I turn around, not 5 seconds after I had spoken to this man, and both the man and the squad car were gone. And because I know you will all probably be wondering, no, I did not hear an engine start. No, I did not hear a car door slam. I did not hear sirens. I did not even hear this man walk.
One sec.
All that
Oh.
was left of him and his squad car was the smell of cigarette smoke still in the air. I was that close where I could still smell the cigarette smoke, but the car and the man were gone.
So really weird, but she's putting it out of her mind. Like there's no way that this is like as creepy as I think it is. She looks around for the dog for around an hour and a half. She says during this time weird things were happening. She would hear whispering sounds, and it didn't really seem like she was alone. The search is taking such a long time. She goes to her car and comes back with the car. The cemetery is so massive. This is not a job she can do alone on foot. However, as it gets closer and closer to 5, she realizes there's no way she's going to find this dog and make it out of the cemetery before the gates close. So she heads back to the exit.
Alright.
I was looking in my rearview mirror, kind of like scanning my mirrors and stuff to see if I could see any trace of movement. And a big black dog ran across
Is
like,
tough, so I
and I
will
had two dogs with me. The first
read it later.
was, oh my gosh, maybe that dog is chasing the other dog. I should turn back around and go look. But the second one, of course, was that cop saying, after 5, nothing gets out. So I did one of the few smartest things I've ever done. And I listened to the cop.
Huh?
I ignored whatever that creature
Hello?
was, and I got
Hello?
out of that cemetery. And sure enough, I got out of there literally right as the clock turned 5. I think I got out of there at like 58. And then at 4:59,
Alright, next up, I'm gonna have.
the gates closed. Like they're on an
Wait, I just realized something.
locked shut.
A lot of people in the comments were saying that
Finn's shade of blue in his golden skin is brighter than his default skin.
in the cemetery to try to get her to stay and look for the little
Let me
white dog.
just.
But thankfully, she knew better. Thankfully, the cop had warned her. She got out okay, and she found the dog. After this entire experience, something just didn't sit right with her. She couldn't shake the image of the cop and what had happened out of her mind. So she started doing a little bit of research, and wouldn't you know it, she found something.
3 days into this research, I find an online database that a bunch of veteran police officers started to honor officers who had been killed in action or otherwise like had passed on. I think this database went as far back as like the 1890s. Like it was very extensive research. And when I got to 1984, I remember this so distinctly. I had a physical reaction because suddenly I clicked and I was looking into the face of the man that I had spoken to not 3 days earlier. And that man had died in 1984.
There's
Not on that spot.
5 more achievements, and how the hell are we gonna get a new player to floor 100? Oh, it's clear. Help a bud clear a floor 100 times. My bad.
There he is, Patrol Man Jay. And I truly believe this is exactly who Tegan saw that day. Exactly who warned her in that moment, hey, nobody is getting out of those gates come 5 p.m. Someone who wanted to help in the afterlife and didn't want this girl to miss her rehearsal because she was trapped behind the gates of a cemetery. This story is literally one of the craziest ghost stories I've ever heard in my entire life. Now, there was a follow-up to this, or two that Tegan posted.
Alright.
which she talked about a
Shall
little
we
more
join a
some
run?
of the strange things that happened during her
Yay,
search for
let's
the white
do
dog.
this.
Maybe we're paranormal, maybe we're just really bizarre. It's pinned on her
The
profile.
new
If you
machine
wanna
type
go look,
plays
I
very
posted some
similarly
entire
to
story about the ghost cop, and
the arcade machine.
this entire thing was just so unbelievable and yet seems so real, heartwarming, and terrifying all at the same time. I don't know. I feel like especially after Audacity's original video, this is a really, really, really sweet one, but also really scary. The next
story comes from TikTok user Lois Lane. Twin. This is not the only paranormal story that this poster told.
Alright, let's help this Boxton get to floor 5 or something.
This story in particular, she talks about mimics. So, it's the one that I chose to talk about for this video, but if you want to hear about her other one, go check out her page. Lane says that the events of this story take place from October of 2022 to January of 2023. When it all begins, Lane is spending a weekend home from college at her boyfriend's parents' house. They had just gotten a wood wick candle. Do y'all know what that is? It's like a candle, but the wick is wood, so it crackles. I don't know. If you've never heard it, like, it just sounds like a fireplace. Like, that's the appeal to it. And Lane's boyfriend's parents are really like, listen to this candle. Like, I don't know. They just really wanted her to find out to it, I guess. So she's sitting at the kitchen table. She's doing her homework. She's just relaxing, very zoned in on this sound. Her boyfriend isn't in the room. Her boyfriend's parents are like facing away from her, backs to her, watching TV, basically. And this is when she hears something strange. And listening, like I hear my boyfriend's voice, like, hey, Lane, come from behind you. So I turn around and I'm looking, and these people are pretty religious, and you wouldn't expect anything to happen in their house. So I thought it was my boyfriend. So I got up, I went into the dining room with the lights off, and I'm looking around for him, and
Huh?
I can't find him. And I'm calling out to him.
Hello, Bloom.
No response. I text him, and I'm like, where are you? He comes upstairs and he's like, I was in my room, like, what's going on? And I think
Get to the elevator.
was a little freaked out. He told me essentially that he'd been in his room for the last hour, and it wasn't him. And he promises me that it wasn't him. Now, this experience really freaked Lane out, but it seems as though the family was kind of like,
No, get in here, Boxton. Get in. Please.
almost like brushed it off a little bit, don't really pay it any mind. And she's trying really hard to be rational here. She's trying to kind of convince herself that this is not paranormal. There has to be a reason why this happened to her. It's nothing. She pushes it out of her head. Fast forward to January of 2023 when Lane's boyfriend's family gets a dog, a little Wheaton named Ugly, which is important for what's to come. Now, Lane and her boyfriend are away from the house once again. Now, they were out all night. When they get back the following morning, Lane's boyfriend's dad pulls her aside and says, I heard it too. My boyfriend's dad pulls me aside and he's like, I heard it too. And I was like, what did you hear? Because it had been months at that point. I had no idea what he was talking about. He gave me Andrew's voice. I heard Andrew's voice. And he goes on and proceeds to tell me that last night he had heard Andrew open the garage door and go into the bathroom right next to the garage door and say, like, hey, I'm home. He responds back to it, and he knows he's not crazy because the dog got out Oakley and he walked to the garage door. And when Oakley wasn't coming back, he got up and went to go see what he saw. The bathroom door was open and nobody was there. He checks Andrew, he's not there. It truly sounds like they had a mimic experience in that home. My family had one as well, and it sounded really, really similar. Hearing each other's voices, just saying things when neither one of them was home, seeing the back of each other's heads going in and out of rooms or leaving the home. They would hear doors open and close. It really, truly sounds like this was a mimic experience. And I would be really curious to know, I guess, just how this ended. I think that there was more to the story, and like I said, Lane has other paranormal
Look.
stories on her
Oh,
profile.
Toodles
She's
is
a really
alive.
great storyteller, so check her out. I love her and all of the other TikTokers that I am mentioning today. Listed down below. This story, however, is truly terrifying. And the moment she said that Andrew's dad said, I heard it too, my stomach dropped. The next story comes from TikToker Feet Queen 93.
Yeah, Boxton did die. How would I realize? Someone else is using the same skin as me.
The visuals of it are just absolutely petrifying, and you'll understand as we get into this video. I don't want to
Yes.
Feet Queen the entire time that I talk about this story, so I'm gonna call her Erica since that's what it says her name is on her Instagram. Facebook Marketplace for only $250 a month. She was like, score, this is perfect. She moves into the house. It's a very, very, very old home. The house is made out of local stone and it has been converted into different apartment units. And to get to Erica's room, you have to go to a bathroom and then you're in her room, but it's also connected to another bedroom. They kind of like closed it off with furniture so it felt like a real room. Either way, she was all moved in and it's now the first night she's ever sleeping there. The first night that I was sleeping there, I was woken up out of a dream. Don't know what I was dreaming about. And I saw this woman just like hovering over me, looking at me.
They said
And I
Finn
looked at her for a
had
few
like
seconds.
a video,
When
so I'm
she
gonna
finished,
assume they added
there
some
was
sort of
nothing.
lore
I
room
just
to like one of the floors.
wide, and she looked nervous and she disappeared. In the moment, this poster says that she didn't really give this that much thought. Like, she was coming out of a dream. Yes, it was weird. It was probably pretty creepy to see, but she didn't know, like, if that could have been real. She was coming out of a dream. She was sleeping, you know, like it was her first night in a new place. She sort of brushes it off to the side, doesn't think about it that much. But the very next day, as she's going through the bathroom, you know, that she has to go through to get out of her bedroom, she sees somebody crouched in the shower. I swore that I saw someone like crouched in the corner of the shower. And I thought that was weird. But because the night before, and how I was like, that was probably just a dream. I'm probably just paranoid right now. I'm not going to give it any credit. Eventually, it gets to the point where Erica adopts a little kitty. I think you can hear a cat meowing in the background of this video, which is very cute. But at the time, she was only 19 years old. The cat's food was more expensive than hers. I'm sure a lot of you can understand, I understand, what it's like to be a struggling college student trying to support yourself along with your pets. So she does the responsible thing and she gives her kitty away to a very good friend who is going to take wonderful care of her. Now, this was all well and good, right? But seemingly, this is just where the paranormal nightmare of this story began. But that little figure that I had seen crouched in the shower was a little boy. And he was very upset that my cat was not there anymore. So what did he do? He terrorized me. Like, it got to the point where I had to rearrange my room. When I would wake up and roll over in the middle of the night, I wouldn't see him. Because he would stand in the corner where I had my cat's stuff, as if like protesting that she was gone. And that was every single night from that point on. During the day, I would have hangers and clothes fly out of my closet. Did not matter. Door would open, closet, big clothes would just fall out. It became a normal thing, you know, like I would see him and I wouldn't think twice about it because I didn't want to engage. I didn't want to encourage it. So what I would do is I wouldn't say anything. If it was really scaring me, I'd go to someone else's house. I just did that because you know, like child spirits, you don't really know if it's a real child or not. I think this was a real child because he was just throwing tantrums and taking it all out of me. Now, it seems to me that Erica became somewhat adjusted to living with this creepy little ghost boy, okay? I think that maybe she had some sympathy for him. I mean, it's clear that she feels like she understood why he was there. You know, he's protesting the cat being gone. However, what she says happens next one day as she's literally just sitting there folding laundry is an image that I will never be able to get out of my head. I was folding my laundry on my bed and I watched him crawl out of my closet, look at me, and crawl underneath my bed. It actually makes me sick to my stomach even thinking about it because I don't know if you've seen any scary movie. It was horrifying. So yeah, I didn't. I didn't come back for like 2 days because that was horrifying. And before I left, I did get on my hands and knees and look under the bed to see if he was there. One of the bravest moments of my life, he wasn't.
There we go.
I was really bad. You know, I didn't care that I didn't see him this time. After this point, Erica left the house for 2 days.
Oh.
literally, like, I would have nightmares about that to this day, Erica. Babe, hope you're getting good sleep at night because that would have traumatized me. Lastly, for today, we have a story from TikTok user Alexandra Lunetta. This story is captioned "Somebody get A24 on the phone," and honestly, after hearing this, I'm pretty sure you'll agree. When Alexandra was just 3 years old, her family moved from a small apartment to a big house. Now, during the viewing process of this house, they stumbled across some pretty bizarre things. It's her three older siblings and her mother who are there with the realtor checking out this house for a viewing. Now, everything seems fine. They're walking through the house, they love it, it seems perfect for their family. However, it's when they reach the basement that they discovered something bizarre.
When my family went to the basement, they saw dried droplets of blood splattered on the floor and on the walls. They found bird feathers, and then they saw a satanic symbol drawn on the wall. Now, the previous owners of this house belonged to a mother and her son, and according to this woman, she once lived upstairs, and she let her son eat in the basement. She said she kind of just let him do his own thing, left him alone because he was an adult.
Despite this, the family did move into the home. Now, Alexandra explains that she was the youngest of her siblings. There's quite a significant age gap between herself and her siblings. So, being the only child in the house, she seemingly had all of the paranormal experiences. It started off with the growling. She would hear low-pitched growling coming from behind the closed doors. She was very young.
I'd be walking through the house, and I would hear low-pitched growling coming from behind closed doors, closet doors. I distinctly remember this one time walking past the closet door in the basement, and I put my ear to the door to make sure that I was hearing what I thought I was hearing. And I was. And so I ran upstairs. I grabbed my mom. I was like, "You need to go and open the door because there's something in there." And so she opens the door, and there's nothing in there.
The older Alexandra got, the worse it became. By the age of 13, it was not just hearing things. Now she was physically seeing things within the walls of her home.
The paranormal activity got increasingly bad, and it was so bad to the point where it was disrupting my sleep. Every single night I was woken up at 3 a.m. on the dot. At first it was just my TV would be turned on, or I'd hear like really creepy noises coming from the closet or like a dark corner. Now, the way that my room was set up was I had a room upstairs, and my room was at the very end of this long narrow hallway. And when I was laying down on my pillow in my bed, and my door was open, I could see directly down the hallway. So when I'd be woken up at 3 in the morning, I had to open my eyes, and I slept with my door open because I was so scared. And when I would look down the hallway, I saw this very tall, dark figure. It was all black. Couldn't see its face, but I knew it was a man. I just knew. This figure, every single night, he would be sitting at the end of the hallway, and he would walk slowly down the hallway into my room and stand at the foot of my bed and just try to intimidate me.
The reason I included Alexandra's story in today's video is because her story reminds me so much of my own from my time living in my haunted farmhouse in Georgia that I talk about all the time. I truly think that it's where my fascination with the paranormal began. I had a similar experience with a tall, shadowy figure that I just knew was a man, and I knew was a bad man who did not mean me or my family well in any way. During this time, her family isn't believing that like the paranormal activity is what's actually disrupting her sleep. Her mom takes her to a neurologist to see if everything is okay.
The doctors could never come up with anything because my brain activity was normal, so they just conjured it up to me being a child, and it was just my imagination. It was all in my head.
By the time that Alexandra reached high school, most of her siblings had moved out of the home. Once again, she was the youngest
Oh,
of her siblings.
I was gonna ask if I can take it, but
That had been in the basement of the home. Remember the one from the beginning? The one with the blood and
who
the satanic
needs
symbol?
that?
Yeah, this girl is really brave. And unfortunately, this is also when the paranormal activity became
Huh?
physical.
I would wake
Oh,
up
hello.
just in the
Oh,
morning,
goodbye.
and scratches on my body in threes. And one time I was so mad that I woke up from being choked. No, this time it was a woman. One of the very first times I had ever seen her. I was having sleepover with my friends, and I was woken up in the middle of the night. Classic, and she was staring in the corner of my bedroom, and she was just
Um,
standing there, staring down at
I
me.
I did.
She
I
had
did.
a long, tattered dress. Her limbs were all decrepit and broken, and her hair was long and
Just
ratty and dark, and I could not see her face. At this point in time, I had grown so accustomed to this that I just didn't care anymore. Like, it was a part of my life, and it didn't scare me. I remember waking up, looking at her, and being like, I'm going back to sleep.
That image of the lady that she just described with the arms and the legs being broken, along with that sulfur smell of the rotten eggs and stuff, it literally sounds demonic. From the blood to the weird symbols on the wall to the activity that she's describing, the bruises, the scratches, the 3 a.m., the all of it. It sounds demonic. However, you have to remember that Alexandra moved into this house when she was like 3. She's in high school now. She's used to this. She wakes up, she sees this lady, she's like, I don't care. Rolls back over and goes to sleep. She's just over it at this point. She's not really talking about this with her siblings. Her mom doesn't believe her, just thinks it's like a neurological thing. So what other choice did she have than to look at what she was seeing in that moment, that terrifying image of that lady, then to just roll over and go to sleep? But there was one final experience that Alexandra shared in this video, in which on one Black Friday, she got a call from her brother around 2 in the morning saying, you need to come back to the house right now. I'm not going back into that house until you come home. She comes home quickly. It seems as though her brother is kind of the only other person who really had like paranormal experiences like she had, but I still don't think anyone was having them like she was. Like, she was very clearly getting the worst of the activity in this home. She asks him, what happened? Why were you back in the house? He won't tell her. He won't tell her. They're standing in the kitchen. She's kind of trying to calm him down, get him back on earth. They're talking about random stuff. They decide that they're going to go to his room, which is also down in the basement. But in order to do that, they have to pass by that long, narrow hallway.
And my family was sleeping, so all the lights were off. As we're passing the hallway, I hear a very low-pitched growl coming from the end of the hallway. I didn't say anything to my brother. I didn't look at him. I didn't act different. We get downstairs and we get to his room, and he was in me. He says, did you hear that? This was like the whole confirmation for me. Like, everything that I had been told regarding, like, it's all in your head, like, it's not true, you're just a kid, whatever. It was finally confirmed that no, this was a real experience. Finally, he tells me why he wouldn't go back in the house, like, what scared him. And he told me that he was going out for a cigarette. And before he went out the front door, he had a really horrible feeling. He turned around, he looked up the stairs, and it was that woman that I had seen previously. He described her wearing the same thing. He described her looking the same, and he said that she was just standing at the top of the stairs, staring down at him, just trying to scare him.
Following this, Alexandra, along with the help of her brother, said that it took a lot of time and attention, but they eventually got these entities out of their home. She said that the paranormal activity did persist until the day that the home was gone. Like, things would move, you'd hear sounds, but it was not this intense, brutal, demonic thing that it had been before. When she was 23, Alexandra's mom sold the house. And the night that she moved out, the night that she got to the new place, Alexandra had a dream about 3 entities. The 3 entities that had been in that home, basically telling her goodbye.
The very night that I moved out into the new place, I had a dream of the 3 entities, demons that were haunting me, and finally they showed me their faces. And they were essentially like, goodbye, like, this is it, you've been released.
And that was the end of the story. This to me sounds like something straight out of like The Haunting in Connecticut. That's what I kept thinking about hearing this story. Like the room in the basement basement kind of reminded me of the haunting in Connecticut. The smell of the sulfur and the way that it attached itself so heavily to the child in this family. I can't even imagine what kind of other stories came out of that home. I also understand Alexandra's parents not believing her. I'm curious though if they did at all. Because when I lived in my family haunted farmhouse, my parents didn't believe me, but then when we moved out, they were like, yeah, no, we believed you the whole time. We just didn't want to say anything because we were scared too. Well, my mom did anyway. My dad was still kind of skeptical, but my mom told me after the fact that she'd had an experience as well. So I'm curious if her family ever experienced anything that they didn't tell her about. It's really creepy though that her brother saw that woman the same as she did. I have a video for you guys. It's sort of a sequel to a video I did a few months ago, which I was pleasantly surprised to see how much you all enjoyed. That video was on stories, specifically paranormal stories, coming out of the Audacity Stitch trend. If you're unfamiliar with this, essentially a creator named Audacity came online and said,
Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable, but is entirely true. I'll go first.
and TikTok did what TikTok does, and it responded with scary stories. Today I have 6 of them to share with you all. Everything from haunted dolls to mimics and so much more. These are the 6 scary videos that I found out of this
The
trend
new machine type is here.
And trust when I tell you, I've watched like every single one of these videos. Thank you as always for tagging me in your scary finds. If you ever want to participate in these videos, follow me over at LilyBugXO on TikTok and give me a tag in your favorite scary videos. Our first video comes from Megan, aka Megs_Zone on TikTok. For Megan, she has a number of scary stories that come out of her childhood home. One she believes is haunted. Now, Megan's family, for a period of time, hosted Korean exchange students in their home. They were like a host family. And for Megan, she's really used to just sharing her space. In fact, one of their Korean exchange students even lived in her room with her. They even shared a bunk bed together, like one of them on the top level, one of them on the bottom. So Megan has just been really used to sharing a space. However, in this family home, the carpet was being replaced. And so her father ended up taking off every single door in the house, I guess just to make that easier. When I first was listening to it, I was like, do you really have to do that? And then I realized, yeah, the door can't just be in the way while you're trying to carpet. So anyways, Megan is like, I just need like more privacy than this. You know, she seems to be quite used to sharing a space and all of that, but without the door at all, it's like she really wanted more privacy. And so her grandmother for Christmas got her one of those privacy bead curtains. Do you know the ones I'm talking about? The problem with these privacy beads in particular were that they didn't fully reach the floor. There was like a small gap between the floor and where the privacy beads ended. And that little gap is where the absolute horror of this video begins.
And my sister Callie would always come in and just steal my clothes, my makeup, whatever she wanted to use. And I was a pretty light sleeper, so she would slide under the door beads to come in the morning before school and to not wake me up. There was one particular night where my exchange student was visiting her uncle in another state for Thanksgiving, so I was alone in my room. It was nighttime, everybody was in bed, and it was dark, and I just heard my door beads. So I look over, and I see what looks like my sister, just like her silhouette, and she's got long, curly hair, and she was crawling on all fours with her hair, and her hair was like hanging in front of her face, and she was crawling on all fours, sliding under the door beads, and I could see the door beads like hitting against her back as she slid under. And when she got there, she like hurried to the end of my bed where the closet was at the foot of my bed, and she came in to turn on my light. And she's like, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, yep. And I just freaked out and told her what had happened. That was one time that was super, super creepy.
Yeah, she sees her sister crawling, seemingly with her hair over her face like she's Samara from The Ring. We actually have another story where some kind of entity mimicked someone's loved one, and I don't know, this kind of stuff, that's the stuff that really, really freaks me out. Because you guys know, I've talked about it kind of at length. My family had a mimic experience with what I guess I call was a mimic, but it was just some kind of entity in a house that is now mine, where my brother and my dad would see each other, but it wasn't them. They'd never see the front of each other's faces. They'd see each other out of the corner of their eye, walking away, stuff like that. But if I imagine seeing your sibling crawl under your door on all fours, you're like, oh my god, they're playing a weird, creepy little prank. They're just not there. That video truly, truly terrified me. However, Megan does have other paranormal stories under this trend, so make sure to check out her account to hear the rest of those. As always, I will have everybody that I talk about today listed out down below. A lot of these creators did multiple videos for this trend, so yeah, check them out. Our next video comes from TikTok user Kayla Dow. Kayla explains that if you knew her, if you knew her family history, you would know that her mother's family has been struck with just a lot of tragedy. Her mother lost both of her brothers at the age of 38, really unexpectedly. They just got sick one day. It happened very quickly. Her mother also lost both her parents in her 50s, just a ton of loss in this family. As a result of this, Kayla says that their family plot, their family graveyard, grew quite quickly. There was a lot of people to visit, a lot of people who were very loved by her mother and by her family. Her mother also has surviving sisters. That's the family that she has. So one day her mother says that she and her sisters are going to go to the family graveyard plot, and they are going to go make arrangements basically for all of their loved ones, their brothers, their parents, and they're just gonna go spend this time together, all of them. And so Kayla decides to go because some of her cousins are also going that she hasn't seen in a really long time. But something she highlights in the beginning of this story is that when it comes to this cemetery, there is no cell service. We're not talking about a weak signal, a bad signal. There is no cell phone service in this graveyard. In fact, nothing around except for maybe an old church and a ton of farmland. They're on the way to the cemetery, and one of Kayla's cousins is playing around with a digital camera that she has. This is I think she said 2013, maybe 2014. So digital cameras just were a cool thing to have. And so they're playing with this digital camera on the drive down to the cemetery, and it's the minute they hit the cemetery line, the camera just stops working. It had a full battery, and now it just won't turn on at all. So that's the first weird thing that happens. The scariest thing seems to be
Yep, Astro is here.
Cannot find her cell phone. She thinks her young son had it last. He's a 7-year-old kid. He's like, I don't have it. I don't know where your phone is. Well, she had it when they arrived, so the cell phone has to be somewhere. The entire family is looking around the graveyard, in the cars, just everywhere they can for this cell phone. And that's when something really bizarre happens.
And there's no cell phone, so nobody can call it and figure out where it is, right? So there's a fence that separates where you park your car and where the cemetery begins. Our family plots are right on the fence line, or at least very close to it. We're all inside this fence. Nobody has been outside of this fence. And I know this because I'm always the observer. I'm always watching people and seeing what they're doing. While my mom and her sisters are over there fiddling with flower arrangements, my cousin and I are kind of sitting on the gravestone, and I'm watching the cousins to see what they're doing. Nobody walks outside of that fence. I'm telling you, dude, there's no way. No one can find this phone. And all of a sudden, my mom's oldest sister, her phone starts making the weirdest noise. It was the weirdest beeping sound. It was not a sound that was programmed into the phone. It was not a downloaded sound. I don't know how to describe it other than it just wasn't her ringtone. She honestly didn't even know it was her phone at first because of how weird the sound was. When she held up her phone, there was two really alarming things that I noticed. First, the phone should not have been ringing. Even though it was showing that someone was calling, there was no service in the corner. Didn't make any sense. The second thing that surprised us all is we're standing in a circle watching this phone ring. There's no one else out there. And the phone that is calling is the phone that is missing. And this is the first point in the trip I started to feel really uneasy. Like, I'm trying to leave at this point. I'm like, Mom, like, I don't feel good about being here. Like, I really just want to go. But nobody else seems to be listening to me. And in the midst of them not listening to me, what does my aunt do? She answers the phone. It's not a person on the other end of it. It is like this crackling sound, like someone like popping some like rocks, so rolling rocks with their hand. And my mom and her sisters start crying, and they're saying like, "This is our dad calling us. This is our dad." And I'm looking around, and I'm like, "Is nobody else scared?" At this point, I need to walk out of this place and just leave. Like, I literally head to the car. And as I'm walking out of this car, there's like this little covered pavilion that's like kind of by the entrance of the cemetery on the other side of the fence where the cars are. And sitting on that pavilion is my cousin's phone, face down, locked. Nobody was out there to have called from that phone to my aunt's number. When my cousin unlocks that phone, there's no record of a phone call. There's nothing on it. It says no service. No phone call has been made. How is that possible? I don't know.
I think, personally, like, I think that when it comes to people feeling like something is a sign from their loved ones, I'm never going to be anybody ever to tell you that a sign you believe from a loved one is fake just because it seems different to me. Because I feel like if I said some of the signs that I feel my dad has left for me, people would be like, well, I mean, that's just like a thing that could happen. And I know how discouraging that would feel. So I'm definitely not saying it's not that. But I also believe that when you get like a gut feeling of being terrified, of being unsettled, of feeling like something is just wrong, I don't think that's ever a loved one. I don't think our loved ones scare us. But that's my opinion on that. And clearly I have two very differing opinions that clash with each other in this case. But I do think it's just fascinating. And the entire time that I was watching this, I was thinking about, I was going to say my childhood cemetery, which sounds crazy, but I grew up across the street from this really old cemetery. And I used to just walk like through the cemetery all the time, like visiting graves, like talking to people who died in like the 1800s. It's really no wonder that I turned out the way I did and why I have the job that I do. When I spent my youth walking across the street to a cemetery in the middle of summer to talk to someone's dead great-great-grandmother. Anyways, if you're thinking about the camera, by the way, that camera that we talked about at the beginning that randomly stopped working, oh, there's a resolution to that, and it's pretty freaking creepy.
I climb back in my aunt's Camry, and we're driving down the road leaving at this point. They've had their waterworks show. I'm pretty shook. Like, I'm not feeling too good. And my cousin's over there still fiddling with her camera. As we get down the road, she's like, I still don't understand why this camera doesn't work. She goes to turn it on, and this is full battery.
Kayla says that she's known occasionally as an overreactor and asks us what we would do in her place. But I really think, like, I don't think it's overreacting. I think that if you have a gut feeling, a gut fear, that's trying to tell you something. So, yeah, not overreacting, in my opinion. But I thought that story was really, really weird. Next up, we're taking a look at a video from TikTok user Vivi Bite. Now, this poster, Vivian, when she's a child,
I found the lore video.
in the military, and he was overseas for a period of time. And when he comes back from that tour, Vivian is so excited to see him. She's just missed him so much that she's like, it gets to the nighttime, and she's like, well, I want to sleep in bed with you, which her dad, of course, says yes to. It's the middle of the night. Her dad is fast asleep beside her in bed. She starts to hear something outside of the bedroom.
So I slept in his bed, and his door was open. And I was up that night late reading with a flashlight because I was like, oh, I'm going to blow his socks off reading this book to him.
And that night, I heard footsteps coming up the stairs, and it's like he's jangling. And so I like go around the doors, have it up to here, and in the doorway, I see an apparition of him. My dad is laying next to me, but I see my dad as plain as day. Oh, it makes me sick just thinking about it. He's a little bit transparent, like I can kind of see through him, but it's my father.
was like, no way. And I put my covers into my head, and when I looked back out, he was gone.
That sounds like one of those two-sentence horror stories, like the one where the mother is calling.
Oh, that's honestly a good lore video. It honestly just tells us more about the Toon Finn.
So terrifying, it can't possibly be real, and yet I truly think it is. Like I fully believe the story because you know what I say. You believe kids, you believe pets when they have a paranormal experience. We have more stories with kids like later in this video who have paranormal experiences, and I just always feel like kids know, pets know. I feel like adults, we have this almost guard up where it's like we'll explain away a paranormal event. You know what I mean? A kid doesn't know how to do that. Like a kid isn't going to be rational. You know, they're just going to tell you what they saw. And this, seeing this, having your family member in bed beside you and seeing them in the doorway while they motion for you to come here, like, oh my god, terrifying. Vivian does tell a second story in this video. And this one comes from when she was just a bitty baby. She doesn't remember this, but it's been told to her by her family. One night she starts crying in her nursery, and so her father gets up and he goes to her room to go and check on her. However, he gets to this room and there's no baby.
Crib empty. No baby. He starts freaking out, obviously. And he's searching the house, following my cry. I'm downstairs, 3 stories down, on top of the pool table. I'm sat on the pool table, like holding up the wall, crying. I'm telling you, I was probably
Dwah.
15 months. You cannot
There we go.
nor could I walk down all those stairs and then get on top of the pool table. In that house, me and my sisters, we were on top of the stairs. They're running at me. And they know this.
That's like what? Our
We were looking down into the darkness. Nobody else was home. And we were just like
fifth lore video.
Kids are stupid. And we threw a bottle cap down there. And it flew back at us. Like,
This is not a case of a kid like crawling out of their crib. She literally somehow made it all the way down the stairs and was sitting on the pool table. Even if she could have done that, how did she get on the pool table? You know what I mean? I feel like the first time I listened to it, I was like, well, maybe it's not necessarily a bad spirit, like maybe it's a playful one. And then I remembered what happened with her dad, where she saw him in the doorway, like beckoning her to come closer. And suddenly I was like, oh, never mind. This is not a good thing. This is a thing that very clearly is taking her downstairs and putting her on a pool table. It's disguising itself as her father and telling her to come here in the middle of the night. I don't know. Her videos are so scary. And again, she's one of those creators who has multiple scary videos on her account. So go and check her out. Really, really quickly, you guys. This is not my first time filming this video. I filmed it the other night, and the part that you just watched actually got corrupted. So I had to refilm this, and I'm about to play you the rest of this video. I'm in like the same outfit and everything, just in case, I don't know, I look a little different. Then the TikTok user, it's just me, Kayla G. We have a haunted doll story, possibly. It's a little complicated, and we'll get into it. The way that Kayla starts this story just put such like a pit of unease in my stomach. I debated for a long time on if I even wanted to tell this story because quite frankly, every time I tell it, it just creeps me out all over again. So I kind of try to just not think about it. But a few years ago, our family experienced one of the scariest things I've ever
Riverside Unit Rat Killer kills down the route. And it's rainproof in 15 minutes. Killer outcomes. Effective and affordable. Spectricide, you hold the power. There is a script written for you. It has everything planned out. Line by line, scene by scene. Tells you the role you play and what you do. It's neatly written, carefully crafted, and very predictable. Real. And you repeat exactly what they expect. But if you dare go off the script, that's a different story. Yes. If you trust you can, you
37 years of life.
Like, I heard that, and there was just something about the way she said it that it's the scariest thing that's ever happened in her 37 years of life. I don't know. It hooked me, and it's for a good reason, because this story is crazy. This is a couple of years ago. It takes place in 2020, and Kayla at this time has two children. Her older of her two children at this point is sleeping really, really soundly through the night. Self-soothes, just kind of like puts herself down in bed, and it's out like a light. And it's around the time that Kayla comes into possession of a doll that is kind of just passed down in her family, seemingly as an heirloom. It originally belonged to like a great-great-grandmother, and now it's just gone through cycles of various women in her family. And she specifically says that like people in her family think this doll is haunted. So it's around the time that the doll comes into her possession, and around the time that her son interacts with the doll, that his sleeping patterns begin to change. One night he wakes up literally screaming from a nightmare, like a nightmare that scares him so badly he wakes up his parents screaming. So Kayla is like, I'll go lay with him. She goes to his room, she lays down with him, and he's clearly unsettled about something. But specifically, she says that he keeps looking at something over her shoulder. So I go to him, I lay down with him in his room, and I'm like, it's okay, buddy, you know, I'm here, I'm gonna lay with you, I'll be with you tonight, you don't have to be scared. And the whole time I'm laying with him, trying to get him to go back to sleep, he is like staring over my shoulder off into the corner of his room. And I go to turn my head to see what he's staring at. He stops my face with his hands. He's like, no, mommy, don't look at him. He's really scary. So I'm like, all right, let's go lay down in my bed. So I carry him and all these things. We go lay down in my bed. And he's still just not very settled. He still seems really shaken up. I'm like, buddy, you're in mommy and daddy's bed. You're safe now. It's fine. Let's go back to sleep. He's like, I know, but now he's staring at me from over there, a corner in my room. And this is just the beginning of a situation that went on for nearly a year. After this point, every single night, her son is having nightmares. It is like impossible to get him to sleep in his room alone. It's more than that. Like, he won't go into his own room, period. Won't go in and play. Won't even go in to go get a toy that he has in there. He will not go in his room. And he's telling his parents around this time the same story over and over and over again. And he's also telling us in vivid detail the same story every single night, that he is seeing something crawl out of his closet and stand by his window, which is right next to his bed, and it's staring at him like this. And he says it's trying to eat him. Yeah, when she made that face, it just left me with such a sense of unease, because I can only imagine, like, her doing it was scary, but imagine a child doing that, and her son specifically saying, oh my god, it gives me chills, I'm seeing this thing crawl into my closet and stand next to my bed every single night looking like that. Anyway, this goes on for months and months and months and months. A couple of things happen around this time. Kayla has some leftover holy water from her son's baptism, and so she uses it around his room. She creates like a barrier around his bed, and surprisingly, he actually does get better sleep. However, her youngest son, who is just a little baby, starts waking up in the night screaming as if absolutely terrified by something. When Kayla wants to take her older son to preschool, he doesn't want to go to school. And this is weird because normally he really enjoys school. He gets excited about it. And he says, I'm not going to school unless you promise me you will stay with my baby brother all day. You cannot leave him alone. And his mom, Kayla, is just like, yeah, of course, like, he's a baby, he's not going to be alone, but there was such conviction, seemingly, in her son's voice, that she promises him, like, of course, I'm not going to leave your baby brother alone, and that's the only way that her son, her older son, will go to preschool. They contact a priest who specifically tells them that, yes, dark entities can attach themselves to objects. Specifically, Kayla tells him about the doll and ends up giving him the doll to, like, dispose of.
Hello?
Properly. Now, this is where things get strange. He ends up contacting a priest, and, you know, he's telling them
That is one entrance I did not need to hear.
Objects. He's asking us, body language of the house. I mentioned the doll. I mentioned that, people in my family have said
Mm.
things about him when there's dolls around, but I don't really know, so he doesn't
What?
getting him the doll so he can dispose of it properly. So we can arrange for him to do that. And then he asked me if Lawson is called
Don't
anything by any
are
specific
are you trying to say Hercules?
is actually calls it bow.
Who the hell is Achilles?
Well, there is actually a demon, and I don't want to say his name because that means bow. But there name is Bale, and
Uh-huh.
he has like a name for firstborn male children, all of this stuff, and it creeps me out so bad. We get rid of the doll. We pass the doll off to the priest. He gives us
Right.
specific instructions on specific things to say and do around our house. He has us open a Bible to a very specific passage, and then
I barely got sleep,
in a closet.
so I can't really think of who you're trying to talk about right now.
Things do calm down. He's not sleeping the way
I
he's not talking
got the
about
Robux skin. I did not get the skin from the arcade machine. No.
but he's still remembering about somebody with him. He's nearly 7. He's just turned 7
Oh,
and wants somebody still to sleep in bed with him and help him fall asleep.
well.
If you the name that that freaks out. Now that's weird. That really that her son is calling it. He's never heard before.
Jokes
Similar to this like
jokes on you. I made it to
that the priest is talking about.
level 88.
Because of her husband and their son
Anyways,
on this
Amil, I am back in the private server
settle him after one of
if
his
you want to rejoin.
years, and she didn't notice it until after the fact. In the photo,
My private.
almost what looks like the shadow of a hand or like a claw
M-
holding onto
My Dandy's World private server.
as he holds onto her son's hand. In looking at the photo, man, I thought the first time I saw it, it was him with his own arm wrapped around himself, but it's not. It looks like a hand on his shoulder, clear as day. And I know it's grainy, maybe it could be something else, but this great whole know what I say. I say it every single time. This is the best. Kids know. They just know. They know when something horrible is happening, and they know when it's not good. And I think that the fact that this thing
I'm on.
like started off with her
Dang it!
really weird
I got to
and then
level
like
score
literally the night
whatever that is.
holy water around her older son's bed, her youngest son starts being tormented in his
I've already seen.
and I think that her youngest would have been
Wait,
too old to
does I forget? Has anyone on my friends list already beat this on level on like 100?
believe kids and believe pets when they see something spooky better than we do.
Five
Talk for me.
5 people on my friends list have already gotten the swimming Barnaby achievement.
Right up my alley, so hopefully it's up yours. So sitting on this poster, she and I have like the same haircut. This is a wig, but underneath this I have the cutest little pixie. Anyway, this poster, her name is Meg. Let me get her friend is having a
Now I just need one more Twisted Fin encounter.
The minute she said that, I was like, no, this is not gonna be good. So Meg's on to this bachelorette party when suddenly she gets this overwhelming feeling that she needs to
Amziel, where are you?
go back to her house and go pick up cleansing tools. Think like tool cleanse. Where her husband's like, just leave. Bathroom didn't feel like using a gas station. She's lying. She doesn't want him to know that she got this weird feeling of like something might need
Oh, there you are.
spiritual protection at this cabin. She says it was a pretty pleasant drive, just a handful of hours, but
I
specifically
just
you are
need
on your way
to
to his house.
encounter
There's like
Twisted
a
Fin
little
3
under 8 hours
times.
worth of just plain forest. Nothing
At
but forest as far as the eye can see. And Meg owns the house.
Did you already get the Robux skin?
And they're like, hey. She's like, hey. And it kind of just seems like everybody knows that something feels
Also,
a little bit
here's my one critique about it. Why does Sprouts... Wait, let me get this... Why does Sprouts have a trail but Finn's doesn't? Make it make sense.
And my two friends are standing here and here. These are pictures of the property. And I walked
Like,
in
I would agree with you there if... Oh wait, wrong skin again.
it's funky and I don't like it.
If the Showtime's skins that also have a particle effect didn't work like that for the like normal tunes. Like genuinely make it make sense. Anyway, it's time to go matchmaking again. And watch people miserably fail. Alright.
I walked up the stairs and I got stopped because I literally felt like an energetic wall, like, do not go any further. My friend said that's really weird. That's literally as far as we went to before he got here. You know, they were just checking out the house and they went up into that weird little locked out area and they were like, no, no further. This is the top of the stairs right here. And if you look way down in this locked area, there's a little door, crawl space, and it was shut when we got there. As people
This happened to me the first run I did during this update.
she said, was the door open when you guys went up there? The crawl space door had been opened, and none of us had been up there.
Now, this is weird. There's a bunch of weird things going on, but primarily it seems like just to be frank, the vibes were very off in this home.
I don't think I need to use that trinket anymore, so here we go. We are the Finlings. Feed us. Feed us water. Yes, because that is totally how consuming water works. So scrumptious. I just can feel the texture of the water on my tongue. Four fruit punch skins and Finn army. Twisted Finn is here? What? I don't... Oh yeah, there's like, I think 2 new animations on this floor. One's for like... My high score is 10. I did not see the day that I would see Finn distract. Oh wait. Why is... Get away from me. I'm probably gonna... would you like it? You can go on it. All I need to do is see Finn one more time. Same. But did you know they actually buffed Finn's ability slightly as well? They buffed his ability's passive effect from 33% to 35%. Real big changes over here, guys. No, they would not buff it to 69 or 67. I'm going to strangle you if you suggest that again. Boo hoo. Anyways. How does Barnaby feel about this? Lol. If Finn is a fishbowl with a fish that goes fishing for fish, stop breaking my brain. Brain, please. Stop breaking my brain, please. You can release the fish after catching them.
What I was picking up on primarily that kind of like lived in that upstairs loft area was something that was not nor had ever been human. This sounds really crazy because I had run.
Oh yeah, did I mention that they added a new machine type?
This wasn't even that. It almost felt like not from here. If you catch my drift, but it was what I saw in my.
I won't spoil anything then.
It's interesting because another woman who was there
Fun.
told me that they saw that spidery looking image of this big nasty thing like crawl from up in this main area.
Twisted Finn is here?
Into the loft area where we were sleeping.
Where is... Yeah, they removed it and reworked him. Yeah. Let me just... You keep saying you'll distract Finn, but then just end up not distracting. Oh. The ability immediately goes off. I play Geometry Dash, so that Barnaby arcade game is a second nature. I play Roblox games.
Just feeling so uncomfortable, ready to get the heck out of there. Someone said, so you picking up on anything? And it's interesting because at that moment I felt just this overwhelming cloud, almost like darkness from every angle just starting to swoop in. And I said, I think it's time to go. The way everybody collectively pushed back from this table and popped up and got up and grabbed their stuff and started hauling ass out of there, it was like a scene in a movie. Other guests have weird experiences and check the book, pause to read. Now, there are some logbook entries as well. The Meg shows here. This one reads, these people stayed here in 2019. There were only 6 of us, and it was a little creepy, but we had the best dance party in Snowville, and we wouldn't have it any other way. But here's a weird one. This one happened in what looked like 20.
They should have buffed it to 1000% speed. Trust. They also added 5 more achievements. Did you even check if they did? I think I'm just gonna go run into a Twisted real quick. Because you know how much that irritates me sometimes. Happens to the best of us.
But no, nobody is going in there. The husband to be was actually having his dad party down the road, and they came over because they heard whispers and rumors about what was happening to us that weekend, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna run in and we're gonna take care of it." When they saw the look on our faces and they heard me say absolutely nobody's going into that house, they decided not to go in. I got in my car and was completely
Now
silent,
this
white knuckle, like grip on the steering wheel until the tree line
jawbreakers are quite useful.
I was getting closer to home. I burst into tears and started sobbing because up until that point, I had never faced anything that dark or malevolent in my
Fair
life.
enough.
The few of us called each other after to process what had happened. It was wild. Yeah, it sounds like Meg specifically is a very like intuitive person. I mean, she said that herself. She's very, very sensitive to spirit, but like it seems like she might have had a better understanding or grasp on whatever this thing was. It seems like it was affecting people very differently, but all around quite negatively. But it's so
Oh, hello, Poppy.
I wasn't feeling anything. Meg did think she was like a very spiritually protected.
No, it's Poppy and Tisha.
So maybe that was it. I'm glad that she didn't have anything scary happen to her. But I'm so curious about this location. It's not safe to like put out where it is, but I'm also just like, where is this place? I don't think I would go. I don't think like with this explanation, this is not like a door slammed in the room, some lights turned on by themselves. Like this
Say hello
is
to my little friend.
where is it? Where is it? Don't tell me, but where is it? Finally, we have a TikTok from this user. I don't know how to say their name. Is it that weird DL girl? Is it that weird old girl? I don't know. I'm gonna be referring to them as our poster.
And if I say the Robux skin for Finn is miles better than Finn's default skin. Because I've been seeing so many people on Twitter calling it a worse version of Finn's default. And it's been irking me so much.
Now, the father of her kids has this house that has been passed down in his family for generations and generations and generations. It's this really beautiful home, 2 stories, tons of acreage. And the family says, hey, you guys are just starting out, you're a new, fresh, young family. Number one, 21 years ago, how this person looks 21. Anyways, they give them a reduced rate on this house. They say you can move in, you can live here while you get on your feet. And also it comes with a little bit of furniture. They're moving in and it's partially furnished. The poster said nothing crazy had happened until this point. Like maybe a couple of things that could always be blamed on something else, but nothing crazy happened. But I want you to hear this part. Like, because this part was what really sold me. This is why I listened to this TikTok on repeat for an hour. New Year's night was a culmination of I have no idea. But when I tell you, me and the father of my children can't even agree on like what color the sky is half the time, I could call that man right now and he will tell you that this is gospel spoken in a pulpit. Do you understand? That's where we're at. That just sold me. I was listening. Don't get me wrong. I usually will listen to these kinds of stories and like clean my room or something or do my makeup. I heard her say that and I was sad. I was at attention. I was ready for class. So it's New Year's Eve. And this poster and her husband, they're kind of in a small town in Virginia. And for New Year's, all they're going to do is just go down to a neighbor's house and go to like what seems like a little party. They get a babysitter. They go out to this party. And this is where this all begins. So went down there, hanged out, ate, did all the things. It's after midnight. What do you do in rural Virginia? Nothing. There's nothing to do. We were like, let's just take a look around the bend. We go past the house, just look. Everything's quiet, calm, and collected. We do our look around the bend. It takes us about 15 minutes, if that. As we're approaching the house, what cuts through the dark is our upstairs light. And we're like, what the hell? We know grandma is not going to be in our home at no 1, 2 o'clock in the morning unless it's an emergency. Or someone's in my house. So we get to the house, we pull in the driveway. Every single light is on in my home. And there is a music emitting from my house that I didn't know my house could make music this loud. Continue. So I sent him in. We noticed right off the bat, we don't see any windows open, and we have to use our keys to get in. Neither the back nor the front door were unlocked or open. So we had to use luck. You
comes in and gives me a little cordless phone, because back then didn't have cell phones. They did. I was broke. We didn't have one. So I'm saying I'm going to punch a cordless phone. I watched him go through the rooms, cut stuff off. The music is still going, and I'm just sitting out here like, oh no.
And every single light is on. And music is playing unfamiliar music. All the doors are still locked. Nobody would have done this.
And next thing you know, I hear this man holler at me
Fun.
that it's not like it's terror and fear. It's something I still to this day never heard him be this way. But he was, please get in here. Please get in here now. You have to see this. And it was such urgency and fear. I'll just go. And with everything that they tell me not to, I just go because I hear it in his voice. And when I walk in,
Who died?
there was a piece of furniture that I presumed was like this beautiful tabletop that she had left a pretty lamp on, and she said we could use it. And so I had some books up there, and knickknacks was this cute little thing that I used in the bedroom. Everything was cleared off of this and stacked extremely neat in a corner. This tabletop piece is now in the middle of the room that flips up. He did know that this did this, I did, and revealed a record
Did-
player
did-
and a
did.
radio that is blasting music near him nor would never listen to. And the part of this is the most chilling, if you haven't got there, is the cord. The cord to this piece was stretched so tight into an electrical socket you could almost flick the cord. And me and him are just in silence, stunned.
By the way, if you're wondering about the babysitter, I was wrong in the beginning. They did not leave the kids at home with a babysitter. The children's grandmother lived on this property, right across the street. So all that happened was they took their child and they took them over to grandma. So nobody was there. If you're wondering, okay, well, if the kids were home with a babysitter, how did that happen? So anyways, this happens. But the night is not over yet.
So we unplug it, we get everything back in the room, and it's just this eerie
What I
silence.
noticed it, but only because I looked back at the ability.
We just kind of in unison sit on the bed, and the next thing you know, as it stills, the bed just does this very.
What flowers say my bad without a report?
Try adding white tulips. They symbolize forgiveness.
Tulips. Definitely more tulips.
Hello, Moto.
Have you press the closed bags in XL size? If you crave it, you can sink.
No.
That was it. That was it. I slept in the truck. Moved out the next day. And I can't say this enough. Real anything but this story.
I think that getting the hell out of Dodge when you have little kids like that is the smartest thing you can do. I think it's crazy that seemingly nothing happened until then. I mean, no,
Only because I do not want to deal with Twisted Dandy.
to say, okay, I think there's something going on in this house. That's just crazy to me. Just nothing, and then one night it comes alive like a monster house. I don't know. Recently, you guys have been tagging me in some of the scariest true stories ever told on TikTok. There's been so many trends this year that encourage people to share scary stories, and it literally makes me so happy. It's becoming so popular that usually I have maybe 5, 6, 7 stories to share with you in a video, and today I have 12. And when I tell you, every single one of these stories is absolutely terrifying, and according to the poster, is entirely true. I mean it. These are some of the creepiest TikTok videos that I have seen in a long time. Starting off with our first video, this TikTok user Ashley Inc. Ashley kind of started a new TikTok story. Asking the question, tell me a story about a time that you know that you saw something, but you don't ever tell the story because you know that no one would ever believe you. I don't think I've ever told this story before because I would sound like an insane person, but I know it happened.
his stories on TikTok recently, but actually kicks off this request for creepy videos with a story of her. And her story occurs when she's just 7 years old. See, Ashley grew up in the Chicago area, in a little suburb of Chicago, just southwest of the city. And on Fridays, her parents would go out to go bowling. I think that's really cute. They would go out on a little bowling date. She had a babysitter named Maria, who was probably about 16 or 17 at this time, and her little sister was around too. It's a night for the girls, and Ashley's in the kitchen by herself, while Maria and her little sister are downstairs. And Ashley just happens to be looking out the window when she sees something strange.
It's dusk. The sun is like pretty much set, and I see a black panther jump over the fence and come down, stand underneath the apple tree. It was so tall that its shoulders almost came out to
No.
the first set of branches. Jet blackbirds. And we had a house cat, so I know what the house cat size is in relation to this thing. This thing was easily 6 or 7 times the size of our cat. So I start calling for Maria, yelling at her to come up to the kitchen to see this black panther in our backyard. She was taking her time. My sister was crying and she was tending to her. I'm standing there mesmerized by this black panther, and it turns and looks at me and makes eye contact. On its head, this thing was jet black, and on its head, it had a little half white fur just going right like this. And we just stare at each other for a good 5 seconds or so. Maria, I hear Maria start to shoot up into the kitchen, and as she's walking into the kitchen, the panther runs in blink. I was like, there was a panther in our backyard. Maria's like, it was just a house cat. I'm like, no, it's a panther.
So the night goes on, and Ashley's positive of what she saw. She saw it clear as day. It was a panther going into the lake. And alarmingly, not too long after that, the doorbell rings. And this part of the story just gives me chills.
I'm in bed, and her doorbell.
I know I've probably said this before, but I'm honestly thinking about getting into cosplay.
So naturally, I get to my moment. I go to bed, I go to the top of the stairs, and Maria answers the door.
Um,
Stairs, and she lets this man in, and he's wearing all black. He's like very pale. And you hear him tell her basically,
I honestly don't know.
it was the 90s, so people didn't have like cell phones easily accessible, so he just wanted to use a car landline. So Maria lets him in. He's using the phone. It's very muffled. I can't hear what he's saying. I like remember the conversation, but I don't. That's where mine and this girl's stories are similar. So after he makes his phone call, he's like turning to leave. He walks past the stairs. He looks up at me. He's like, and seeing on his head, he has a little patch of white hair.
I honestly think I might need to reset my computer, so I'm probably gonna have to end the live stream early. But thank you to whoever actually dropped by, and yeah, see yas.